In fact, let me give you a little look round. Hang on a second. Boom, there we are, look. That's what we've got. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. There's a bit of a swell. We might get some waves crashing over the side of the wharf shortly. In fact, I'll take you all the way around. There you go, look. There is sunny Oamaru. And yesterday it was pouring down with rain. Very cold. Still cold. There we are, that's better. Yeah, so it's about 3 degrees at the moment. And I've been racing around the town trying to find a hot pie. I went to Coupland's and they're sort of warm, but not great. We've been there before. So the pie's in the truck trying to keep it a little bit warm and prevent it losing the last of the heat. I'm on the road, as you can tell, and heading my way down the South Island at the moment, visiting motorcycle shops on my way down. Let me just get logged in. A bit ad hoc this morning, sorry. We'll do a refresh on that. Boom, boom, boom. So how's your week been? There we go. There he is. So let's see who's on Holmes Wharf with me this morning. Simon Roll. Good morning, Simon. Welcome back, mate. Morning, Andy and crew. A new magic hammer. Shh. Don't tell Mrs. Mechanic I've been spending money again. But there is, and more on that shortly. Roger Heaps. Good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Roger. Heading my way down to Invercargill. Should be there by the end of the week, I think. In fact, Wednesday night, I'm in Queenstown, so probably Tuesday night will be Invercargill night, I think, from memory. Richard Perry, hi Andy and crew, hope all is well. Big GB flag. Yes, I'm just fine, mate. I had a good night's sleep, which was nice. Connor K, on the road with Andy Mechanic. Good morning, crew. Good morning, Connor. Welcome back, sir. Hey, Kevin, Machine NZ. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Kevin, and welcome back to the live streams. So, without further ado, let's get crack on with the old pie. Just give me a second, I'll get it out of the truck. Okay, so we have, probably done this already, Coupland steak and cheese, my go-to pie, made from 100% New Zealand beef, as always. And it's going to get cold real quick because it is damn chilly up here, to be fair. But it's a nice morning though, saying that. It's just a bit cold. So the first week of the trip has gone as scheduled, no problems at all. Other than the ute has flagged a fault code. We have a semi-blocked a DPF filter, I'm not too sure on these modern vehicles. On the diesel, it keeps flagging up saying it's blocked, you need to drive to clear it. Well, isn't that what you do in a ute? You drive. So I've been driving around and it hasn't cleared it, and now it's finally flagged a fault code, so it'll be all right. We'll make it back. There seems to be no change in performance on the ute yet, although the fault code, the engine management light only came on this morning, so we'll wait and see. Right, so we're going in before it gets cold. It's quite tasty, but it's not very warm. So I got off the ferry, drove down to Wellington on the Monday, got on the ferry Monday afternoon about 4 o'clock, 4:30 ferry, got into Picton. Ferry crossing was fine, no issues there. Got into Picton, finally found the place I was staying. Google Maps or the navigation in the car was completely wrong. Kept going around in circles, but we got there in the end. Went down to the Irish pub for tea. Irish pub was closed. What the hell? No Irish tea. Damn, that was a shame. So I don't think I actually had any tea that night. I don't think I did. I just gave up. No, I didn't. I just went back. I put the telly on and went to sleep, basically. It was about, I think the ferry got in about 8:30, so it was quite late. It was about 9:15 by the time I got down to the pub, but you'd expect a pub to be open at 9:15 on an evening, wouldn't you? But anyway, such is life. And then on the Tuesday, drove down to Rangiora, and had a visit there, had a diagnostic to do. That was pretty cool actually what we did there. I can't go into too much details, but it was the vehicle sort of told quite a story of various issues, some of which were humanly implemented without saying too much. But we got to the bottom of it, and the vehicle's gone back to the customer and it's all fixed, which is nice. Some hellish waves over there. And then from there into Christchurch, stayed in Christchurch that night at the Distinction in Christchurch, very nice hotel, right next to the cathedral that they're rebuilding after the earthquake a few years ago. I wouldn't say it's nearly finished, it's not. There's still got a lot of work to do by the looks of it, but it's coming on well. And then in Christchurch the following morning had a visit in Christchurch at Trevor Pierce, and then down to Rolleston for another dealer visit, and then on to Ashburton for that evening. Stayed in Ashburton again, another cold night, bitterly cold actually that night, and wet, raining hard. Visit in Ashburton on the Wednesday morning, and then down to Timaru, another visit in the afternoon. Stayed in Timaru that night, and then Thursday morning drove down to Oamaru. Sorry, Timaru dealer visit that morning, Thursday morning, drove down to Oamaru, dealer visit that afternoon, I think it was. I think so, I forget. But anyway, I'm here now in Oamaru, and from here down to Dunedin this afternoon. And then visits, the following morning with the dealer, and then on to, where's next? Gore. And then, so Balclutha, then Gore, or Gore Balclutha, I always get mixed up. And then I'll end up in Invercargill. The brain's not working too well this morning. Anyway, the pie's getting cold. Some really good news here in New Zealand. There seems to be a lot more farmers now starting to pay the bills and spend some money, and actually start to buy bikes, which is really good, because it's been really quiet here in New Zealand for the last sort of 6 months. Nobody's spending any money. Everybody's really tight on expenditure, and the farmers especially been running their older machines for a lot longer than the normal cycle period, so their repair bills have been going through the roof, which is just dumb, because obviously it costs a lot more to run an old vehicle than it does a new one. But there's been quite a lot of activity in the last few weeks, which is really good to see, so very happy with that. There's field days going on up in Hamilton, just outside Hamilton, which obviously has helped to sort of spur the market on a bit as well. So things aren't as bad as they were a month ago, that's for sure. Now then, Embrace Smith, Andy, where is Holly? I should be tucked up in bed in Auckland, I can guarantee that, keep him warm. On e-garage, sending you a coffee, mate. Oh, you're a good man, thank you very much. Sheldon, big clap. Good morning, Sheldon. I caught up with Sheldon on the Friday it was, and then we went out for a pint Friday night. Very good, had a great time. Always a good chat with the crew, Sheldon and Jamie. So thank you for your time, lads, to appreciate that. Cheers. No worries, Mr. Garage, no problem. So just behind me is, just right down there, is a brewery, and they have a nice restaurant there. So we went there for pizza and pint on the Friday night, which was very, very tasty actually. It was, I had what was it, a rose cider, very nice. A couple of pints of that, and that did the trick. Slept really well that night as well, so quite refreshed at the moment. I spent most of yesterday editing videos, didn't really go anywhere because it was pouring down the rain, it was really cold. Pretty much stayed in the room all day, and got the second Trevor the Tractor video edited up, and the first of the English tools. Don't know how well those English tool videos are going to go down, because for anyone that's not really into tools and stuff, and and understands the history of when you pick a tool up, it tells you a story. If you're not into that, then you're probably not going to find the videos very interesting at all. If you are, then I think you'll find them very interesting. So probably a small viewership on that one. We'll see, time will tell. You never quite know with YouTube. Richard Perry Handy, did you get my email pictures from the Hairy Bikers ride? I did, and Simon also sent some through as well. Very, very cool. What was it, 46,000 motorcycles in the end were involved in celebrating, you know, Dave and everything he's done for the industry. It was just mind-blowing. If there's a bike ride here in New Zealand, you'd be lucky if you get a couple of thousand bikes. Very lucky. So 46,000, I couldn't believe it, to be perfectly honest. Unbelievable. Very cool. Yeah, what a day it was. I wish I was there. I wish I was able to join in, because that kind of event, very few and far between to get that many bikes all together in one place. And we watched a few of the videos that Simon sent through on Messenger, and just the noise of all those bikes running and going past the camera, just quite incredible, really just astounding. Wow, 46,100. It's quite a feat. And just the organisation, and imagine how the cops cope with that lot, you know. Bet there were no speeding tickets given that day. You wouldn't risk pulling somebody up. Not when he's got 46,999 of his mates there to give the cops some grief. Sorry, I had a bit of escaped beef there. Right. It's not too bad, this pie, despite it being relatively cold now. So, once I get down to Dunedin, which will be probably just after lunch, I reckon, I'll go the back way. There's no point going on the main road, it's boring. So I'll cut inland and then bounce back out to Dunedin, get a bit of the countryside in. It's always nice to, when you're not pushing it for time. I mean, yes, it's a work trip down to Dunedin, but I don't mind doing it on a Sunday. It just keeps me ahead of schedule, or on schedule without any hassles, you know. When I get to Dunedin, I'll probably grab some lunch somewhere, and then I'll start editing up some more of those videos. I've decided to break the UK tools videos into each box as a video, because I was filming from about 11 o'clock in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon, so there's going to be a lot of rushes, and to make it into one video becomes almost unwatchable. So you'll be able to do it in bite-sized chunks, which I think is probably the most consumer-friendly way of doing it, to be fair. So I didn't do any sign-offs and new starts to the videos. It's just got to be continued at the end of each video, and then we carry on. So let me know what you think, you know. And I'm sure, you know, many of you guys have got tools that you were either given when you were younger or you bought and you've still got now, and when you pick up that tool, you know, you've had it for decades, and it just brings back some memories, that's all. And I find it quite, especially for me, with it being combined with leaving the UK and all that kind of stuff rolled into it as well, I found it quite moving, actually. It brought back a flood of memories of my life in the UK, which was quite different to what it is here. Now then, a few more. Oh my word. Embray, my tools tell a story of abuse. Oh, well, there's a bit of that in there, Embray. Don't you worry, you'll see that on some of my tools. Richard Perry, I broken down at Knutsford, Andy. Oh, you broke down at Knutsford. Holy shit. Faulty brake light switch. Waiting hours for the breakdown, lol. Really? That's no good. Simon, Richard Perry, you'll have passed me. I was stood at the exit to Kendall Services, watching them go by. Took a few videos too. Very cool. Kevin, Richard Perry, are there any YT videos? Are there any YouTube videos? There must be hundreds of YouTube videos out there. There must be. Oh, there you go. Look, Simon's giving you a link. Richard Perry, Machine NZ, loads of YouTube mates. I'm going to need to bombard YouTube this afternoon as well, aren't I? And watch some of those videos. That'll be really cool. Thanks, Simon. UK equals Whitworth? Nah, we're metric in the UK now, but we used to have the old Imperial stuff. And probably, you know, before my time, to be honest, all the different spanner sizes and stuff. I remember my granddad gave me a set of AF spanners, which we've now found. And so I've got a few more kicking around in the arsenal. One thing that I've got to plan now is now that I've got all these additional tools, where they're all going to go and how am I going to store them as regards in the drawers themselves, because I hate having a drawer just full of random spanners that you've got to sift through to find the one that you want. I want to come up with a way of laying those spanners, basically little spanner racks in the drawers. I was looking online, there's quite a few different options out there, but I was thinking, well, it might be a bit more interesting to make something, maybe out of a bit of box section and cut some slots in it and drop it into the drawer and line the spanners up on that. So that's just a current thought process, and it may well be a video in the future where showing people how to make their own, basically, rather than just go out and buy, because most of it's plastic and some of it's pretty cheap and nasty, some of it's pretty good, some of it's very expensive. So, you know, if you make your own, why not? The Real Daz, morning Andy and crew. Good morning, Daz. Welcome back, mate. We are on Holmes Wharf in Oamaru in the South Island of New Zealand, and we're just basically watching the sun rise. It's turning into quite a nice day, but there's a hell of a swell going on, and there's a lot of waves crashing over the harbour walls over in the distance. It's pretty cool. So I'm still away for another 2 weeks. I get home a week on Thursday. I think it is Thursday. A week on Thursday night, I get home. We have a bank holiday here a week on Friday, which will be nice. I'm at home on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday morning there'll be a live stream. So there's going to be live streams every weekend for the next 3 weeks. So every weekend for the next couple of weeks after this one, so the next Sunday and the Sunday after. And then once that live stream's finished, I've got to pack up the workshop and get in the ute and travel to Auckland on the Sunday morning, mid-morning, and I've got to catch a flight to Sydney, and I'm going to be in Australia, in Sydney, for a week. We've got some meetings over there at their head office, and then I fly back at some point, we don't quite know when, on the Friday. Biggest problem with flying back is the time difference. Often I get put on a flight which is around sort of late afternoon Australia, doesn't get into Auckland until about midnight, and of course it's a 3.5 hour drive to get home, and that's not an option. I'm not driving at midnight to get home. I'm not going to get home at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's not going to happen. It doesn't happen in my world. So I might have to, there's a possibility I might have to stay in Auckland on the Friday night and then drive home on the Saturday morning, which would be a real ball ache, because, you know, I lose me Saturday basically, because by the time I get home it's almost not worth opening the workshop up, you know. I will, but it's just a bit of a palaver. Ends up being a really long day, and I'm normally pretty knackered from the day before. But we'll see how that pans out. So no pie review on this pie. It's just breakfast, basically. And it's all right. It's filling a gap. They're always very welcoming at Couplands, or Coplands, whatever they call it, the bakers. And Kelly was just opening up the shop as I got there, so first customer of the day, which is pretty nice. But I don't think the pie warmer was up to temperature. Oh, hang on. Richard Perry, sorry I missed you, Simon. Only 46,000 bikes. Very hard to spot somebody with that many bikes flying around. Simon had to buy some Imperial tools this week. The lathe had a hissy fit on me, but it's sorted now. Well, did you do a video, Simon? That's the question. Did you do a video on working out what the problem was and fixing it? Embroidered. I have Brit hiked from the 1950s that are Whitworth. You probably do what? You probably do get snap-on. I have got quite a few snap-on tools now. They were in the boxes, and some very old Teng tools as well. So you know, hopefully you'll find that interesting. My very first socket set that I ever bought, I bought in Loughborough when I was at college there. I didn't have a lot of money, so it wasn't a particularly big set, but it was a 10 tools set. And I think they'd only been selling the tools in the UK, I think for a year, maybe a year and a half. Brandon was telling me, because I told him what I'd bought. And it had a ratchet in there, which was it was a plasticky style handle to it, and it was black and grey. 10 tools now are black and red on a similar style ratchet. I don't have one like that anymore. I lost it. I left it on the trailer, and it's down the road somewhere. But the original ones were black and grey, and it was a black and grey set. And well, you'll have to watch the video, but it's quite interesting what Ben managed to salvage and get put in those boxes when we were packing up to leave the UK. He didn't have very long to do it, and I was quite relieved to see how many of the tools he managed to gather up and bring with us. Richard Perry, roll on next year. So I imagine Dave's Day is going to be an annual event now, which will be absolutely phenomenal. Jim Kay, wow, what a view. It's pretty cool, Jim. Good morning, sir. So when I was in Blenheim, which is the town south of Picton, I had a little visit to do there at a lawnmower shop, of all places. Went to go and see a friend, and I noticed on the wall, on their little tools wall, I noticed the Thor dead blow hammer. Now, if you don't know, most of you will know, inside a dead blow hammer it has lead shot. You probably hear that banging around inside, and I've never had one. Many of my, fellow mechanics that I've worked alongside have usually had a dead blow hammer, normally a snap-on one. It's all chewed up and broken and stuff, and it's like a rubber. Most of them are like a rubberized head to them. This actually is an aluminium head, and it's got replaceable ends, just like the Magic Hammer, which has got the copper and the hide ends to it. So I thought, well, that's actually quite a cool hammer. Actually, I quite like that, and I do need one for my arsenal. That's their little barcode label there. Look, it's got a part number on there, and there was two or three different sizes. So I went for the mid-size range, and this was obviously made in England, which is nice. This was about $110. I know, really expensive, right? So don't tell Mrs. Mechanic. I'm waiting for the comments to come up. How much? Anyway, so it was quite expensive, but I thought, well, now's the time. I've got some spare pocket money this week. We'll get one of those for the workshop. So we now have it. So the Magic Hammer has a brother, because the Magic Hammer is also made by Thor. And what I was thinking might be quite interesting to do, because obviously a dead blow hammer delivers a very different kind of, it transfers the energy into whatever you're hitting in a very different way to a normal hammer or even a copper hide hammer. And there's a reason why we use them. So I thought it'd be quite cool to get a knock sensor from a car engine, because most ATVs are released, they don't have those, they're not that technical, and to see if we can mount the knock sensor up on a steel plate and use the scope, and then have a controlled impact, so maybe from a certain height, where the hammer just drops down, so it just drops down under its own weight, and then we can see on the scope the different impacts that each hammer provides, and that way we can sort of visualize what's going on. Just really for my own interest, but I thought it'd be quite a cool video if it works, and if the knock sensor picks up the different vibrations and the different impacts. So Simon, you're a clever lad. Let me know your thoughts. I thought that'd be quite a cool little video to do, just for interest's sake, really. Simon, nope. Fudged my way through it. The video will have been loads of jump cuts, taking it apart a few times till it was right. They are the hardest videos to edit up, and I've had a few of those in the past, where you get into something and you've got to stop doing what you're doing, and then you end up going back a bit and then going forwards again and back a bit, and it becomes a real palaver to try and edit it up in any sort of logical sense. Plus you're getting more and more frustrated with yourself and with the job as well, so you tend not to come across too well on camera. I've never actually binned any videos because of that, but you can tell when I watch them back that you think, probably shouldn't have bothered filming that really. It's not very entertaining, and the video doesn't flow whatsoever. But so I can see where you came from there, Simon. Embray, I do have Teng, believe it or not, from many years ago. Well, keep hold of those, because they're the original Teng tools, extremely well made. I think at the time the first ones, they weren't made where they are now. They were made somewhere else. Could have, maybe even Japan, I don't know. I can't quite remember now. But the very first ones were super high quality, and then once they started to sell them in the masses, and they have, I mean, Teng Tools has been very successful across the world. They then moved production, I think, to Taiwan or somewhere. I'd have to check. I can't remember now. But I'm not saying the quality dropped, but there are some telltale signs. The finish on some of the older sockets are different. The ratchets now are quite different to what they used to be. The way that the boxes that they came in were, I mean, I haven't got my original Teng box, unfortunately. That was left in the UK. Ben was given strict instructions just to bring the tools and any socket sets and stuff, that he had to just empty them out, because we didn't have the space to take the boxes. But we did have this, he just poured all the sockets into ammo boxes basically, which made them extremely heavy, but we didn't have any dead space, so to speak. Richard Perry, definitely, Simon. I would say so, without a doubt. But yeah, I do like the old Teng stuff, I must admit. It's nice to have a contact such as Brandon, and of course their support as well here in New Zealand, because he knows a lot more, a lot more of what went on behind the scenes and the history behind Teng tools and things. And they've got a massive range now. It's pretty cool stuff. I haven't bought any Teng now for probably over a year, I would say. But I don't really need to buy any more tools, apart from Thor, the shot hammer. Pretty much tooled out at the moment. I just need to get them a bit more organised. One thing that I do need to do, and I was thinking the other day, is I've got my main Teng roll cab with all my daily tools in there, all my hand tools and stuff. But I've got obviously a lot of other brands now, and some really useful tools that I will be using on a regular basis. But they're all, at the moment, they haven't really got a home. So I'm thinking about trying to organise some more drawers, repurpose some drawers in the workshop where I can, which is near to my main toolbox, where I can put all these additional tools. At the moment, they're all, the ones that I've had that are not Teng are all crammed in that snap-on box up on the main bench. And they're a bit random in there, and it's always been a mess. I just need to have a bit of a tidy up. So watch this space. It's currently going on up in my head, and I'll work something out which is going to be logical and ergonomically friendly for me in the workshop, because there's nothing worse than having to wander all the way across the workshop every time to get a different spanner. It's nice to have stuff near the hoist, so you're a lot more efficient at working. And this is something which I have to cover, at the motorcycle shops when they're planning the layout of the workshops and so on, is you need to keep your techs at the hoist. You don't want them wandering off to the parts department and stood at the parts department nattering every 10 minutes every time they need an oil filter or something. You've got to keep the tech, the skilled employee on the hoist, beavering away, making you the money. And it's for other staff, to feed them the work and maybe to wash the bikes ready in advance. So you don't want a senior tech washing a motorcycle. That would be crazy in my book. Simon, voltage and amplitude on a voltage. Hang on, voltage and amplitude on a voltage and amplitude. You may see a difference in the peak voltage and amps versus the amps with different hammers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm imagining that the dead blower hammer's going to provide you a longer duration of impact, which is maybe lower. You know, a normal hammer is going to be a sudden, you know, a sudden maximum energy, very short duration of time, and then maybe the copper will be a little bit damped down because it's slightly softer impact. God knows what the hide would be like. That'd be quite interesting to see how that varies to the, you know, to the shot hammer. But I don't know. I'm not, you know, into testing stuff like Project Farm. I'm sure he could do a really good video on it because he's very knowledgeable on that kind of stuff and he really plans ahead. But I just need to have a little think, you know, maybe talk to a couple of people before I decide to put the video together, and to try and come up with the best way, but without spending a shit ton of money, obviously, the best way of trying to record that. And you know, is a knock sensor going to give us enough of a difference on the scope? I think it will, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Embroidered toolbox tour. Embroidered, there's loads of toolbox tours already on the channel, the original ones. And of course, we've got these videos going out shortly of going through the tools from the UK. And yes, eventually, once this new set of drawers, roll cab, whatever it is I decide to repurpose, I can't fit any more roll cabs in the workshop, so that's not an option. Then obviously we'll cover it maybe in a live stream, or I'll do a video on it, you know, to show how I've put it all together. But that's going to be a few weeks away till I get all that organised. I mean, I'm not even at home for the next 3 weeks, so you know, it makes things almost impossible, really. All I can do is think about stuff and plan ahead. Now then, Ray Chewy, do you have an email address? Yes. Got a few pics of winches to send you from my trip around India. They're rather impressive. That would be very cool. Yes, my email address, which I think is down in the description as well of all the videos. It's Andy Mechanic. That's one word, Andy Mechanic. And then the @ sign, and then live, LIV for Victor, E for Elephant, .co.uk. So Andy Mechanic at live.co.uk. I kept my UK email address, which I'm very proud of, although it has been hacked once already. And you may have noticed from the first Trevor the Tractor video that went out, I'm not bothering with my Instagram anymore. It's rather upsetting that somebody decided to steal it for Bitcoin profitability or promotion, but it's all right. I've managed to live without it. So, you know, I suppose the only downside is I don't get to see Instagram pages of friends and family and stuff when they post things, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe one day I'll reinstate it again. I'll have to set up a new one, won't I? It's starting to warm up a little bit. That sunshine's just getting a little bit warmer now. My fingers are starting to thaw out. So I've been, get it? Thaw hammer? Thaw out. Anyway, Simon, or a hydraulic ram with a pressure gauge. Now, well, actually then, maybe a hydraulic ram not with a pressure gauge, but with a pressure transducer, which I do have. I got one off Ivan. So maybe I could link something up like that. Maybe that would work, or maybe there'd be too much. There might be too much, you know, because you've got all the fluid, you've got fluid transfer going on. It might damp down the readings, but it'd be certainly another way of doing it for sure. And it'd be interesting maybe to see the difference in the way that the readings are between the two ways of measurement. We could go down a huge rabbit hole with this, couldn't we? But I need to pick up a knock sensor, and there's plenty of them out there. I haven't got one at the moment, I don't think. I should have one, because I should have one off the engine off the RAV4, but I have no idea. That was a wave. It just crashed over to my left, so we might get drenched in a minute. The sea seems to be picking up again at the moment. There's a lot of white water flying around. Yeah, so yeah, Holmes Wharf. Never been down here. I've seen it a few times. Didn't realise you could drive down it most of the way, which we have this morning. What an amazing morning. Oamaru's a really nice spot, to be fair. Even though there's I couldn't get a coffee and I had a cold pie, we'll let them off that. It is a very scenic place. And it's quite oldie-woldy for New Zealand. A lot of the old buildings and stuff. You've seen it on previous live streams. We've got the steampunk museum here, and what else have we got? some kind of gardens that you can go and wander around. I've seen that advertised. It's pretty cool. It's not a bad spot. I think if I was to move to the South Island, Oamaru is definitely up there on the list of where I would live, because it's not too far from Danzi's Pass, it's not too far from Otago as regards inland where all the tracks are and stuff, the cool tracks to ride. Sure, it's a long way off from Hammer Springs and the moles with the rainbows, but there's a lot more of those trails down here as well, so it would sort of put them on the doorstep rather than having to travel all the way to the South Island still. But moving, I've discussed it with Mrs. Mechanic a few times now, and I can't see it happening. I don't want to set up another workshop. I just don't. We've spent so much time and effort building sheds and carports and Ben's shed and all that kind of stuff where we are now that it would just be a nightmare. It really, really would. So we're going to stay where we are for now. And Mrs. Mechanic says, I'm going to die in this house, aren't I? Well, probably. Yes, this will be our one and only house, I think. The good news is it's nearly paid off, which is great. I'm feeling very happy with that. It's quite bizarre. Whenever I pay the mortgage each month, I'm actually quite happy to pay it because I know it's another big chunk off the total. We're getting there. And in this day and age, I mean, I really feel for my kids, for Ben and Charlotte and Eloise, trying to get on the property ladder. Ben's really struggling at the moment. He's saving up like mad, but the house prices are going up just as fast, and I'm going to have to step in and help him at some point, but I've got to clear my mortgage off first, unfortunately. Connor K, we used dead blow hammers on handles of special purpose wrenches when taking apart fuel centrifuge in engine rooms for regular cleaning, required to avoid bearing damage as they spin at thousands of RPM. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the dead blow hammer will provide more of a, funny way of putting it, more of a push than a sudden thump, you know? Trying to describe it in layman terms, that's how I see the benefit of a dead blow hammer. It's just, yeah, more of a push, a bit more of a sustained force, but maybe not quite so high a force. Not so much of a sudden impact, you know? So you're not going to indent those races, or the chances of indenting the races are a lot less. Interesting stuff, isn't it? Ray Chewy, when you have a minute, have a look at the pictures. I will. I'll do that. I wonder if they've come through now. Hang on. Let me have a look. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Now, Ben's down at the cottage this weekend. Yes, my workshop will all be opened up, and he'll be in there digging around for various nuts and bolts and screws and things. And he's busy doing the final bits of the panelling work in his shed, in his little workshop. And they sent through some pictures yesterday, and it's coming on really well. I won't share those this morning because it's not finished. But when we do a live stream down there and he's got it all set up, then we'll do a live stream from Ben's workshop. And I think that'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cold in there, I think, but it'd be cool. Right, let's have a look. Have we... nothing's come through yet. Let me just refresh. It might have dropped into the yeah, it might have dropped into the spam stuff. I'll have to see. Hang on. It'll take a while. There's a lot of spam comes through, believe me. Obviously, with my email being publicised on YouTube, everybody seems to get it. Oh, I've got a query. Grainy edits. Is that another spam one? It probably is. I'll search your email later on when I get to Dunedin, and I'll check it on the laptop. But thank you for that. It'll be interesting to see those different kinds of winches for sure. We used to have a hydraulic winch on the front of the Unimog, and it was a £16,000 worn hydraulic, and it was phenomenal. You could use it all day long. That was another wave. It's getting closer. Yeah, that was a good winch, was that one. We had a Husky £12,000 on the rear as like a tether winch, so we could park the Mog on steep descents and still perform the recovery without any risk of the Mog slipping away. The Unimog used to weigh about 5 tons empty, and it would carry 5 ton as well. It was a pretty cool piece of kit. I do miss it. I know I harp on about Unimogs, but When I was driving down to Wellington, I was on the phone to Jim at the time actually, and I think it was about 9 or 10 Unimogs went the other way in reasonably quick succession. They were in convoy, and there was only a couple of winches on the front, so there was only 2 that I would consider buying when they come up for auction. I'm definitely going to get a Unimog again, but unfortunately the ones they have, well, not unfortunately, the ones they have here are the troop carrier style Unimogs, so they don't have a tipper bed on them. I had a U1000 in the UK, and it had a 3-way tipper on the back and lots of hydraulics. It was very cool. It was a bit like a tractor, really, with the amount of hydraulics it had on it. But yes, those winches, pretty damn cool. And on the front of the Patrol, we've got a £16,000 electric winch, again worn, so it's the electric version of the same winch made on the Mog, which is massively overpowerful for the front of the Patrol, but it meant we could always get out with that. We never had to use a snatch block. It's really cool. Oh, Kevin, off now, Andy. Watch the rest later. Day in the shed for me. Safe trip. Thank you, Kevin. Much appreciated. And enjoy your time in your shed. I'm very envious, to be honest. I'm just driving today, which is pretty much normal for me. Simon, can a hammer be measured in resistance frequency, as a dead blow is dull and a pin hammer is a different pitch? Yes, maybe. I mean, isn't that what a knock sensor would measure anyway? But we'll see it on the scope. I'm sure the scope will pick it up. I'm sure it will. Hey, we've got a seagull about to bomb us. No, he's gone. He veered off. He thought twice about it. Jim Haynes. Oh, here we go. Hit the thumbs up already, but I'm at race at Hagertown Speedway, Maryland. And what's the weather like? Is it any good down there, Jim, or is it adverse weather conditions? Hopefully it won't get cold off. Great fun. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. So what time are we on now? I have no idea what time it is. Let me have a look. 9:15. Okay, well, we're going to call it a day at 9:30, I think. Just an hour's live stream. Because I'm not in the workshop, I haven't got lots of things to show you and talk about, really. It's a bit different when you're on the road doing these live streams, I must admit. But it's great to have the company. It really is, because it does get a little bit lonely on your own. I mean, it was quite different on Friday night, obviously, when we went out to the pub with Jamie and Sheldon. That was a really good night, and I enjoyed them, you know, putting the time aside to spend some time with me, because it does get you a bit down sometimes when you're out on your own. You know, I'm on another mission, and every day seems to blur in, into one long trip, basically, where you just, work, sleep, and it's it's not so much fun, to be fair. And there was crap on the telly last night. I didn't find any decent movies to watch, unfortunately. Oh, there's a fight going on. Oh wow! There was a wave hit the harbour. I couldn't show you. I didn't get time to turn the camera around, but there was a wave that hit the harbour wall, and it ran all the way down the full length of the harbour wall and spilled over. See if I can turn it around. We'll see if we can catch one. Hang on, turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. So I'm going to just turn you around over there. And if you look really carefully, can I zoom in? Will it let me zoom? It will. There you go. Look at that. So you can see over there. Look, where's my finger? You can see the waves crashing over the back of that harbour wall. And the last one, it went all the way along. That was a little one. But pretty impressive stuff. I wouldn't want to be out there in a boat this morning, that's for sure. Definitely not. Is it going to zoom back out? It is. Very cool. And the waves have been like that. The sea's been like this now for the last couple of days. It's been pretty. You should have seen that one. That was cool. And it's nice with the sunlight, because it highlights the waves as they come over. Oh, I'm going to turn you around again. It's pretty awesome, actually. See if we can catch a few more. There you go. Look. Boom. It's not over noisy. I thought it'd be a lot noisier than what it is, but it's not too bad. Hopefully the audio is reasonably good for you this morning, because I'm not speaking very loud. I must admit, I'm pretty quiet this morning for some reason. There you go. You caught a few there. Oh, hang on. Zoom back out again. Turn you round. There we go. Excellent stuff. Okay, what have we got? Ray, will you be watching the England game tomorrow, as it's Father's Day tomorrow for you, like it is in the UK? No, we had Father's Day, I think, a few months ago here in New Zealand. The days are always different. Even the King has a different birthday here in New Zealand to Australia. They're a week different, which is most bizarre. You'd think it would be the same around the world, wouldn't you? Am I going to be watching the English? I take it it's the football game. I'm very ignorant when it comes to soccer. And the answer to that is probably not. I'm not really a follower of football, to be fair. Motor racing is my thing, and even then I get very little time. I watch a bit of rallying now and again. I find rallying's really cool still to watch. Formula One, I used to like it a lot, but it's all much so much really, isn't it, nowadays? Although saying that, aren't they bringing back the V8s, the V10s or something back into the Formula One? Somebody was saying. I saw the changing all the rules and the specs again, so that actually could make it quite interesting to watch with the more powerful engines and so on. Simon, did you do any videos with Mr. Rush? No. Unfortunately, Sheldon got called off to do some urgent repair work yesterday, and there was no possibility of that, unfortunately. And today he's also busy, but I've got to go down to see Sheldon after the live stream, and we're going to run through and formulate a plan on the tractor steering box, just so we're all on the same page with that, and come up with the best way of doing it, because it's turned out to be a bit of a saga. Something which was going to be really simple to do has turned out to be really not simple to do. However, saying that, Sheldon certainly has the skill set to do it. I don't question that whatsoever. He's a very, very clever engineer. And to Sheldon, he'll just say, yeah, no, this is easy. We'll just do this, this and this. Leave it with me. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. And he's got the equipment to do that. So he's got a massive lathe down there. So I do want to do some filming in Sheldon's workshop at some point, if he's happy with that. Sometimes people don't like you filming in their workshops, which is fine. I don't have a problem. Although we did film, when I was doing the DR trip, I did film welding up the rack on the little DR because it had broken on the trip, so we had to do some emergency welding, and Sheldon was more than happy for me to use his workshop for that and to do some filming. So I think we'll be okay with it. It's just difficult trying to schedule timings of how we're going to do it. I am going to be up in Christchurch next weekend, so I would be free on the Sunday, so I could blast down on the Sunday and do a bit of filming with him on the Sunday if he's keen to do any kind of machining work then. But I don't think things are going to happen that quickly. He's got a lot on his plate at the moment, and we need to source the bearings, the two taper roller bearings that the customer got for the steering box weren't the correct size. They were too small on the OD. So we're going to have to source some different bearings if we can before we start doing the machining work. That's the plan. It's a bit complicated. Luckily we're not in a rush. The customer's got all the rear brakes apart at the moment. He's doing all that. He's got loads of other jobs to do on the tractor, so getting the steering box finished, it's not a priority, but it will get done. It has to be done at some point, because we want to get that old tractor back up and running and in a usable state, so we can get it all painted up, and he's going to have it as a bit of a showpiece. It's not going to be concourse, but he's going to have it. He got given it, and he wants to give it a new lease of life. So that'll be nice. Connor K, Andy, I have been on ships that were caught in 15 hurricanes during my time at sea. They aren't waves. Hurricanes. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm not really a ship person. I'm not really a ship or a plane person, to be fair. I like things with wheels, really. I get quite, especially in planes, I get quite nervous, and I feel very restricted on a boat. I mean, I know some ships are massive, like cruise liners and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know how I'd remain to be entertained. I like to go off and explore, and you can't do that, certainly on an airplane. And my biggest worry is falling out of the sky in an airplane. You sort of rolling the dice every time you get on one. So I try to minimise it as much as I can, really. As I'm sure many of you have gathered, I'd rather drive than fly. Oh, congratulations on 93,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. We are getting there. It's taken a while, but at least we're going in the right direction. Just out of interest, when I posted the first Trevor the Tractor video, this is how weird YouTube is. That video lost me 7 subscribers. I have no idea why, but anyway, it did. It lost me 7 subscribers, and it was me back on the tools. Very strange. I know it was a really basic job, but it was a job that I wanted to document the stuff we do on Trevor, because there's a lot of those tractors around the world, and some people don't know how to do oil changes. You know, you've got to remember that there are people out there that are not mechanically minded, that maybe they have a tractor like that and they live in the middle of nowhere, and they don't have technical support, they don't have a local garage where they can take it to get it fixed, and they have to do the work themselves. And to have a video just showing them the basics and how to go about it and what's involved can be really valuable to some people. The winch videos especially have turned out to be very, very helpful to people in remote areas. We had a message come through from a lad in Alaska. I think he was on the live stream actually not too long ago, who'd managed to repair his winch from the information on one of the videos, which was really good to see. You know, it's nice to, that's one of the reasons why I do these videos, is just to help people, really, just to spread the knowledge and fix things, you know, fix things when I'm not there, which is good. Connor K, I like Formula One, haven't heard about the bigger engines, but I hope that happens. It's just not as good as it used to be, in my opinion. It really isn't. I mean, you know, years and years ago, remember that Formula One car that came out? Was it the Elf one that had 4 front wheels? It had 2 front axles, 2 steering axles on it. You know, where manufacturers are trying lots of different ways of trying to improve the performance and the handling of the vehicles, you know, but still remain within all the strict rules. Well, the rules are ridiculously strict now, but back then there was a few loopholes, and that they exploited one of them by having 4 front tyres. There was a lot of negative effects on the car, and it didn't prove to be, you know, overall beneficial, but I think from a steering perspective it was a big improvement. So I believe. I read a little bit about it a while ago, and it was quite interesting what they'd done. But you don't see that kind of stuff anymore. You don't. Pete Woodfine, hi Andy and crew. Happy Father's Day to those that are described as such. Absolutely, happy Father's Day, everybody. Obviously here in New Zealand we're a little bit ahead, so your Sunday coming up for some people will be Father's Day. Enjoy your day and enjoy your time with your family. You know, that's what it's all about. It really is. My kids are all, I mean, it's nice to see Ben on a regular basis now. It's good for him to come down and mess up the workshop. No, he doesn't. He's very respectful, to be fair, is Ben. He's very good. But you know, I do miss Charlotte. She's been away in Canada for quite some time now. We're going over next year. She's getting married, so I'll be traveling. I'm going to try and take a couple of months off and go over to the US or to Canada first and do the wedding thing, and then hopefully have a few spare weeks after that to well, to pop down and see some friends and acquaintances, you know, not too far away. I mean, there'll be a bit of driving involved or riding or whatever we decide to do, but that's probably the only time I'll get the chance to go to that neck of the woods, and it'd be good to make the best of it, you know. So we'll have to maybe try and get Ben to come down and stay at the cottage for a few weeks to keep an eye on it. Probably come down at weekends and tinker away, and he might take a week off work, that kind of thing, once he's flown back from the wedding. Connor K, there are many people that aren't mechanically minded. I've known young people who couldn't figure out how to change tyres or learn to drive manual gearbox cars. It's very easy, Connor, you're absolutely right. It's very easy for somebody. Wow, there's a lot of white water coming this way. Some big ass waves coming this way. We might be getting wet, people. I'll turn you, oh jeez, to turn you around, look at this. Just down there, look. So zoom in again. It was, oh, look at that. Good timing with the camera, Mr. Young. Wow. Imagine doing the live stream down there. We'd be drenched, we'd be swept into the sea by now. Pouring, wow. Pouring over the side of that harbour wall. Very cool. Yeah, it is. I mean, I remember when I was teaching at Unitech, you know, it was very easy to make assumptions in knowledge and skill with your students, and some of the students that were starting the course, they had no idea. You know, you were starting from scratch, and it was good. I mean, it was interesting, and I always just tell our students, you know, we don't leave anybody behind. So you get the first couple of days of working with them, you get an idea of the skill set and the different levels of each particular student. Some students found it incredibly frustrating. Those that thought that they knew everything, they would get very frustrated, and then they would start. There was one in particular. He's all right now, but he would deliberately disrupt the class or throw a curveball question at me, thinking I wouldn't know the answer. And I didn't always know the answer, and sometimes his questions were just stupid, so I just ignored him. But Kieran was his name. You know who you are, Kieran. But he changed. We had a little chat a few weeks down the line, and he changed completely. His attitude changed, and he became a great mechanic. So, you know, it's what it's all about. But no, we'd never leave anyone behind, and sometimes you've got to show people even the most basic skills, and then they learn, and then you can, as a teacher, you see them develop their skill set, and that's what's rewarding. You know, you feel good about it. You've passed on some of your knowledge to them and to the next generation, which is, it's not about the money when you're teaching. It can't be, because they don't pay you enough. It's quite simple. It's an existence and a lifestyle. Roger Heaps. Last bacon is now in the freezer. Oh, no more piggies. Oh no. Well, that's a shame, Roger. Well, hopefully that bacon will last you a while, sir. Hopefully it will. Because when the last piece goes, when the last rasher's gone, it'll be a sad state of affairs, won't it? Anyway. So, just as a quick recap before we sign off, I'm going to be heading from here to go and see Sheldon in his workshop and to discuss the tractor steering box and how the best way forward and what we can do to fix it, basically, because it's completely screwed at the moment. And then from there, I'm going to trundle my way down slowly to Dunedin. I'm not in a rush to get there, to be fair. I'll go the back way. Oh, the roses are out. In fact, this morning, I pulled up to a junction, which was a stop sign, and I was just approaching. He'd already gone through, and he pulled up at the side of the road, and I'm pretty sure he was watching me to see if I actually stopped at the stop sign or not, which of course I would do. I stopped and I counted the 3 seconds, because we have to be parked at a stop sign for 3 seconds here in New Zealand, and then the wheels can start to roll again. And as soon as I'd stopped and then set off, he then pulled out and disappeared. So he was only there. It was a bit of a coincidence if he wasn't watching what I was doing, to be fair. But hey, you know, I didn't give him any reason to pull me up. Far too early in the morning for that kind of palaver. So anyway, I get down to Dunedin, and this afternoon I'll probably get a bit more editing done. And I've uploaded some of the videos because Oamaru has the fastest internet in New Zealand. For some bizarre reason, it was so fast was the upload speed that it had uploaded the video before I'd even finished putting in all the parameters whilst it was uploading. It was just mind-blowing. It was like 140, 150 megabytes a second upload speed. If we get 10 or 15 at home, we're doing well. So it's 10 times as fast as the internet we have at home. Download was about 250 megabytes a second, which again is astounding. I always look forward to coming to Oamaru to upload videos. It's just bizarre, it really is. And it never fails. It's always really quick. Very cool. So that's my rest of the day, and then tomorrow back to the grindstone, doing the old dealer visits, and I'll be in Queenstown on the Wednesday night. That's right. And then on Thursday I drive. Or is it the Friday? Thursday I've got some visits to do. That's right, Cromwell and Wanaka, and then I drive over to Christchurch on the Friday, from memory. Okay, crew. Well, we're about there. It's been great having you on the live stream. I apologise there hasn't been too much to talk about really, but it's good to let you all know that I'm safe and well. and of course, you know, share my new tool with you all. Can't wait to start using that and to test it. I really want to test it and see what the difference is. That's one of the reasons why I bought it, to be fair, just to learn more about the tool and why we have shop blower hammers and the difference in the kind of impact delivery that they have compared to a normal hammer or even a copper hammer. One to be treated with respect, though. I don't think you know, a shop a dead blower hammer like that is one that you'd be braying the crap out of something with. It's not designed for that, and it wouldn't last very long. It's a tool that should be respected and only used for specific uses. Simon, how's he going to sell ice cream going that fast? The Rosa. Oh, funny guy. Okay, crew, I will see you all again next Sunday on a live stream, and I will be, at this point in time, I'll be in Christchurch. Who knows where I'll be, to be fair, but it's planned to be Christchurch. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate all the comments and you know, and just your support for the channel. It's great to have a core group of viewers that really understand where I'm coming from and what the Andy Mechanic channel is all about, and to share my experiences with. A bit different to the videos. Okay, crew, take care and drive safe if you're driving, ride safe if you're riding, and for those that are going to have Father's Day coming up, enjoy your Father's Day. Cheers, crew. Over and out.